Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm Faad, and today we are going to talk about the investment opportunities in Pakistan and how the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the government are trying to showcase those opportunities. In the studio, I'm joined by your own Faad Waheed, Senior Vice President, Islamabad Chamber of Commerce and Industry, former, of course, here. Somebody actually missed that, but okay. And he's also an economist. Thank you very much, Faad, for being part of the program. Let me start with you, Faad. What exactly are you expecting in coming days regarding investment? And do you think that now the country is open for business?
Thank you very much for having me on the show today, Farooq. The topic today is very interesting, and I think it's right time and high time that Pakistanis understand what the Prime Minister and the government is doing for them. To understand it correctly, the SEO Summit, the recently hosting of SEO Summit in Pakistan is a big leap forward towards prosperity and showing the world of stability, how much stable Pakistan is going to be and how it has already feathered all the hard caps. So I think this has been, the SEO has brought a lot of attention to Pakistan, especially the SEO member states. And when I talk about not just the member states, other states that are looking at the Pakistan as a gateway to Asia is now being talked about. Nevertheless, our iron brother China has stepped up as always, and they are going to enhance the CPEC 2.0, and they're going to put in more blood in there. So I think that's another feather in the cap of Pakistan. A very interesting thing that happened on this SEO that I would like to indicate is the private sector was involved. The Federation of Pakistan, FPCCI, the president was named as chair SEO business. So that is another welcoming part where the private sector was involved. And when private sector is involved, as I've already mentioned, that we are the right stakeholders that bring the taxes in. So that being said, before this start, you also mentioned the bringing of prime ministers of talking about Qatar, talking about Malaysian prime ministers. So I think those have been wonderful, and they're giving out a soft image of Pakistan as we need. And I would actually want to correct my own self, not the soft image, but the real image of Pakistan on that.
Right. And Faad, earlier, because I did not want to interrupt you, we all were warming up at that time. But you said that mostly this confidence in our market is because of what you call SEO's meeting. But for argument's sake, one would say that it is because Pakistan has successfully re-entered into IMF program and all the major fundamentals are stabilizing. That is why it is happening. Now, Pakistan is a very interesting case when it comes to its geography, when it comes to the kind of terrain it has. We are literally at the time when everyone is going back to gold as the part of the legal tender. At that time, we're literally sitting on one of the very big gold mines. Similarly, there are reports that Pakistan might have found certain oil reserves, offshore oil reserves as well. But in the end, usually when an investor comes, they don't invest in a country, they invest in products. Do you think we have the kind of structure that is needed to create the kind of products that are needed so that investor can come and invest? And what is your private sector doing about it?
Well, firstly, I'd like to respond to that. Pakistan does have the structure. It's only about the implementation part that's missing in Pakistan. So I think, and I would recommend this to the government at this point as well from this platform, because this consultation of stakeholder and the government policymakers is very important today. Now, if we talk about implementation of this entire the legal framework that I'm talking about for business people, if that comes into implementation, everything will be very easier, and it'll bring in wonders. Similarly, as you said, people would want to invest in Pakistan. Let's say, a friendly country invests in Pakistan. We make sure everything is happening, and for that, there's another sovereign, I would say, sovereign authority that's taken place, which is the SIFC, the Special Investment Fund, the Special Investment Facility Center. So I think that's another, that council is another promising situation. For the past 2 years, they've been hardly and tirelessly working in the best efforts of Pakistan. So that being said, what the private sector is doing is less. the most important sector when it talks about. So recently, we had a very nice and warm discussion with the Prime Minister of Malaysia when he reached Pakistan. There were about 2 sessions of B2B businesses. We signed about $8 million deals in that.
8 million?
8 million.
Okay.
So which is big, and
Yeah.
which is big at this point.
Yeah,
And secondly, one of the major things that happened in that conference was Pakistan was shown much preference towards meat exports.
Yeah.
So Pakistani
Halal
companies, yes,
certification.
halal
Yeah.
certifications, and Pakistanis were preferred from from the mouth of the Prime Minister of Malaysia was speaking on this, that they prefer Pakistani meat over others.
Yeah.
So those are opportunities that we need to understand, and we need to actually bring the framework out. And
Yeah,
for
but
that, it's important for the
Allow me
private
to
sector to
actually
be in.
counter question this,
Yeah.
because I want to understand when you are talking about the structure being there. My concern was whether there are operative or operational projects where people can come and invest, right? Especially when it comes to the overall structure of the private sector. And that is not all. When you were just talking about Malaysia and the opportunities that have arisen, may it be basmati, may it be meat, are we adding value to what we are going to export, or is it just going to be complexity free commodities that we are just going to actually export?
Farooq, I always say this, Pakistan's just a case of bad branding. We have all the products here, but we have certainly in the past failed to add value to our services and products. But this is not the case anymore. Our young generation has taken this up, and they've really and rightly listened to all the elders as we speak. The entrepreneurship that we see in Pakistanis today it's way different than it was back in the day. So yes, it is bringing there the value addition that we talk about today. It's been on there. If you see, there's a lot of interest in pink salt of Pakistan, the Himalayan salt we talk about. Recently, the GI factor, the GI indication on that was also upheld, and Pakistan also got preference on that. So that has boosted not just the pink salt, but that has also boosted the basmati rice. And a ripple effect of that was also the mango. So the mango was also in the same category. When I talk about this, the agriculture itself has shown a lot of interest. Recently, I read through a case study that olives were being grown all over Pakistan, in all the lands where nothing else was being grown. So that's another sign of entrepreneurship. That's another sign that Pakistan is ready for the world.
And I understand what you're saying, but I still was waiting, because you were actually mentioning all the products which were commodities, and I did not hear any value addition. Faad, one interesting argument that I've heard from business community repeatedly, particularly regarding IT sector, many people keep on complaining about the quality of education. If you have gone, I'm sure you have gone many times to Silicon Valley, it is mostly powered by, school or college dropouts. And those people are not PhDs, they are not experts, especially through the, traditional means. And yet they are tech billionaires. Is it actually, is the problem with only education? Or is there something wrong with the infrastructure? Because usually when you go to a company, even if you're not that skilled, the company actually finds a way to train you and give you the kind of tools that are needed. And then of course there's another question, because we keep on talking about lost opportunities. R&D is very important. And the other day also we kept on talking about R&D. R&D has to be improved. Why is it that the private sector cannot show initiative in that aspect?
Farooq, it's very interesting, and the answer lies, it's not the education, it's not the infrastructure, it's actually the perception, how Pakistan perceives education. So if you hear it correctly, and I'm pretty sure you know it, that we only grade the students that are in the A grades, we score them as the best students of the companies. But if you talk about billionaires today, as you already did, they're billionaires of IT sector, but they're college dropouts. So we actually have to understand this soft skill sets that we can provide to this youth. It's not about scoring A's all the time. It's only about getting the grasp of information and being able to actually handle it. I was a C grader, where I ended up. So that's what we need to understand. And once we have this perception and we clear this, that it's not important to have an A in your report, but it's rather to have to know the right understanding of the same. So yes, that being said, we need to educate our youth towards more skill sets. Similarly, when you talked about IT, yes, there is a lot of influx, yes, there is a lot of attention, but at the same work, yes, there is some lacking from the government side, that we have to be a little more proactive than our education system is. The biggest problem between the R&D sector and the companies and the private companies is the academia industry linkages. So that's absent in Pakistan. So we really need to work on. In the past 2 years, I've worked on it.
Just to clarify, you have a business, right? Do you have dedicated R&D cell which actually brings out all the information and opportunities that can be tapped on? I'm asking because there are glaring openings that are not being exploited. Let me give you one very simple example. Pakistan imports a lot, Pakistan exports a lot as well. Usually it happens through shipping containers.
Yes.
Do you know how many private shipping lines do we have? Zero.
Yes.
Right? And of course people can mention that Bhuttos have actually nationalized them and that's why they have disappeared. But what is stopping you now? There's an opportunity. So explain to me, if there's R&D and if there's enough imagination, why do you think we are not exploiting those opportunities? We are waiting for FDI to come, some angel to come and rescue the sector.
I wouldn't say we're waiting for an angel. It's actually the problem that innovation has a very key role when it comes to building a nation. And we've seen that recently, whenever you've innovated a business in Pakistan, somewhere or the other the framework has not been present. Similarly, if I want to talk about this, 3 years ago when IT was soaring and there was booming opportunities for Pakistan, there wasn't enough framework for banking sector for those freelancers to have the money come in. That framework only came in a year and a half ago. So that's 1.5 years of worth of discussion that I'm talking about, and that converted into almost 1.1 billion for exports. So just think about it. If we the lost time we cannot account for, but whatever we have today, yes, there is innovation. Yes, there's a government in Pakistan right now that wants to go ahead, that wants to talk about new business, that wants to bring in new innovation in businesses. So yes, this is the right kind time. And to tell you what the private sector is doing about this, there's tons of things that we are doing, and I'm not going to disclose it today, but the good news that you're going to hear from the Prime Minister when he's back, I'm pretty sure I'm going to give you one in the next
hang on. The
month.
Prime Minister is Prime Minister of the company, not the private sector. So he won't be able to speak on behalf of private sector. You'll have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Surprise after surprise.
The thing is, we are looking into all
when you say
exports.
We, you meant Pakistan?
I talk about the private sector.
Okay.
I represent the private sector.
Yeah,
so when I talk about we, it's the entire private sector. We are looking at bringing in shipping lines. We are looking at bringing in more services that Pakistan has never seen before. We are also engaging the private sector into bringing mortgage system into Pakistan to understand that the standard of living is not going to improve without the bank lending to the local people. If you understand today, the bank is only lending to 85% to government entities.
And the rest even hang on. With due respect, even when it actually lends to the private sector, what are the products they are losing money to? Usually,
they're not losing money.
Hang on. No. But I mean, where are they investing? They are investing either in people purchasing cars or, for that matter, houses. Mostly that. And amazingly, we have actually consumed a lot of our resources just to ensure some kind of that kind of keeping up appearance. Faad, Waheed, always a pleasure. Same goes for you, Komal, Kenneth, Shakil. Thank you very much for being part of the program. Always a great pleasure hosting you.